Some people are placed on a 1 to 2 year wait just to get a brand new Rolex. But I got my Rolex Submariner with no history with the authorized dealer at the age of 22 in 1 week. Yes, you heard that right. I got my Rolex Submariner in just a week from an authorized dealer. Now, did I forget? I did not have any history at all. So how did a 22-year-old with no authorized dealer history or watch history whatsoever in that specific shop purchased a Rolex Submariner? If you stick by long enough, you'll know how exactly I did it. Ladies and gents, if you clicked on this video, chances are that you are in the market of purchasing a Rolex watch. Now, it might be your first watch, congratulations, and it might be your second or third one because you're a collector hoarding a lot of Rolex watches, so newcomers like the other people watching this YouTube video can never get one. That's just a joke, by the way, so don't take it seriously, or am I making a joke? Anyways, ladies and gents, before I get into the topic, I'm gonna show you guys what my Rolex Submariner looks like and what kind of model I got. So if you are a collector, you already have a Rolex Submariner and all that, but you're interested in hearing my story, feel free to skip the video. But if you want to see the Rolex Submariner that I got, then stick by. Let's go from the box, shall we? So the box looks like this. It's pretty simple. It's a green sleek box, you know, with the Rolex logo on it. So if I open the Rolex box, I can open this part as well. The Rolex comes with a warranty. So the good thing about Rolexes is that you get an international warranty. See, this card basically insures your Rolexes even if you are in a different country. So for example, if I purchase my Rolex in the United States and I'm in Japan, so I have the privilege to use a Japanese Rolex shop to get my Rolex fixed. So now I'm gonna show you guys what the watch looks like. So the watch is pretty simple. It's a Rolex Submariner black dial 41 date. It's a two-tone with the gold and the oyster steel. So I'm not a pro at this, so I don't know how to word it right, but I think I got everything. Let's put on the Rolex watch, shall we? So putting on the Rolex watch gives me the vibe of a very sleek and sexy watch. So normally the Rolex Submariner, I don't think it's really that sexy. It doesn't go well with the suit. But this model, the two-tone, really goes well with the suit. So this is my personal opinion, but I think this looks elegant. So although this is a sports model, it doesn't completely, in my opinion, look like a sports model. I can wear it casually and I can wear it with a suit. So that's good, you know? That's why I love my Submariner. So I purchased this watch for $14,000. Now, after purchasing this watch, I posted it on my Instagram. This is the Instagram pictures I posted, and I received a message from a Rolex collector saying that I want to buy your watch or my watch for $30,000. And obviously I denied, but I was flattered because I paid $14,000 and now I'm getting a $30,000 offer. Basically, I'm doubling my investment into this watch. So after hearing about that, I considered Rolexes to be a great investment, but I literally felt it when I was offered that price, that this is gonna be my lifetime hobby of collecting Rolexes and other watches as well. And I'm not gonna sell, and I can pass it down to my future kids. Rolex watches are going to make a great investment and a hobby. So I got a very expensive hobby, but I'm not gonna lose money on this hobby. So this is a great investment for me anyways. But moving on to the topic, how I got my Rolex Submariner. Now, this is the most juicy part of this video, so stick by. I literally went to the Ben Bread shop and asked for a Rolex. I didn't ask for a Rolex Submariner at that time. I didn't want a Rolex Submariner, by the way. I asked for a Rolex Datejust. So the reason why I wanted a Rolex Datejust is because I'm also in real estate and I'm doing other businesses, so I'm going to have to dress up, you know? And that watch looked really well in suits, at least in pictures. I went to the Ben Bread shop and I asked, hey, I want to buy a Rolex Datejust. I said, I have the money, so can you let me buy it? What they told me was that, no, we can't let you buy it because we don't have any in stock. So when I heard that, I was like, no, you do. You have a stock in their case, you know, you can just get it from the case and I can just buy it. And what they told me was that is just for show, we can't sell it to you. You know, I was very dumb back then. I didn't study about the Rolex history or the current situation, the supply and demand, anything like that. I just wanted a Rolex, that's all, you know. And I'm an action taker, so I just went to the Ben Bridge, I just asked for a Rolex and I got denied. So they told me I can be on a wait list. They didn't tell me how long's the wait list, but they told me I can be on a wait list for a Rolex Datejust, and that was it. The lady gave her cell number to me and we were texting back and forth about the Rolex Datejust, and she told me she does not have any inventory. A couple days passed and she randomly texted me, I got a Rolex in stock, but you need to come today in order for you to buy this Rolex. So I was like, okay, is it the Datejust? Because I'm going to go to you if it's a Datejust. She told me it's a Rolex Submariner, and like I said, I wasn't really familiar with the Rolex models. When I set my mind to one thing, I usually follow through, and that was the Datejust, so I didn't really think about other models, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made, because I turned the Rolex Submariner down the first time, and I told her if it's not the Rolex Datejust, then I don't want it. And then she said, okay, then I'll pass it down to the next authorized dealer that has a client that may be interested in it. So I was like, cool, contact me when you have the Datejust. So looking back, I can laugh into this story, but afterwards I was very curious about the Rolex Submariner, right? So I searched up on the internet, asked around, and I found out that Rolex Submariners are really cool. You know, the history and the current situation with the market demand and all that. I was like, wow, I literally turned down a Rolex Submariner. That's not good. So I contacted the authorized dealer again and I told her, hey, I actually want this Rolex Submariner. Can you get it for me? Can you get it back for me? I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna purchase it right away. And what she told me was that she passed it to the next authorized dealer, so she's kind of waiting to hear if the next authorized dealer's client has a interest in the Rolex Submariner. So she told me that if the client is not interested, then you can have it because I can get it back. I can get it because she can have it back for her client, which is me. So I was like, cool, this is amazing. I can only pray that her client doesn't want the Submariner, you know, a stupid ass like me, or maybe that person already has a Submariner. You never know, right? So I get a text from the authorized dealer saying I have to build a history with the Ben Bridge if I want to get the Rolex Submariner, because I already turned it down once to build trust or something. So I said, hey, you know, I'm gonna buy a watch that I want, which is a Rolex, and if I can't get a Rolex, then I don't really want to buy a different watch. But she told me that if I buy a watch, you know, then she can do her best to get me a Rolex. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come to you guys, and she told me that I have to get around $3,000 to $5,000 worth of watch. So I went to the Ben Bridge and I told her, okay, which watches do you recommend? Do you have the stainless steel Rolex, you know, which is around $6,000? I can buy that one, you know, it's worth the money, right? I like the Rolex, I like the concept, but she said, you know, we don't have it in stock, and even if we do have it in stock, Rolex watches don't, you know, count as a credit. So I was like surprised, you know, it doesn't count as a credit. So I was like, okay, it's not gonna be counted as a history or a credit. So I was like, okay, what do I need to buy? And she said Tag Heuer, Seiko, Grand Seiko, Cartier, those, like, you know, watches that nobody really cares about. No offense to Tag Heuer and all that other watches, but you know what I mean, right? So I ended up purchasing a Tag Heuer. It was around $4,000, and that was it. So she told me that she'll do her best, but there's no guarantee. So I was like, okay, I purchased this watch like you said, so you know, work your magic to get me the Rolex Submariner that I turned down once. So she said, okay. And then a couple of days pass again. I get a text saying, come to the Rolex shop and I'll show you what I got for you. So I was like, okay. I went to the Rolex shop, and then she got me the Rolex Submariner. So I was surprised, you know, in my head. Actually, I wasn't that surprised because I kind of knew that she would get me a Rolex Submariner. I believe that it was like a strategy that she pulled, like to punish me a little, but at the same time to like get a little out of me, like commission. If I buy a watch from her, she gets commission, right? If I buy 2 watches from her, she doubles her commission, right? So I think it was her strategy, you know, but I was okay with entertaining that because of the fact that I wanted to build a relationship and I want to a different Rolex as well. So it's completely fine, you know. I'm not gonna name where I got it or, you know, who I got it from, but this is how I got my Rolex Submariner. It was totally a ride of like emotions, up and down, but I was fortunate enough to get a Rolex Submariner. Now I think back, if I said yes in the first place, was I kind of like, you know, talked into buying a Tag Heuer or other watches? I don't know, but they have the right, you know, to say whatever they want. You work for a Rolex watch, so definitely say yes if they say they have a Rolex watch for you. Don't turn it down. You might be surprised, you know. Now I'm looking for a Daytona or a GMT, and I've been at it since March, so it's 2 months in. I hope I get it soon or later. So that's my story of how I got a Rolex watch without no history. Well, technically I built history later on, but you know, in the first place, no history. I kind of screwed up and I built history. And at the age of 22, I think it's very rare, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And that's all. So ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel to keep up with my latest content. I post about entrepreneurship, finance, personal development, and all that thing. So it's gonna be really good. See you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.